as part of VPLEX 5.5, VMware Integrated Array Services was enhanced to support XtremIO. Today I'll be giving you a demo of that functionality and how to go ahead and configure it. To begin with, I've logged into the EMC XtremIO for VPLEX 5.5 GUI. In this case, you can see that I have a VPLEX Metro configuration, but I'll only be using one of the clusters in this case. So we'll go ahead and log in here, and we see that I have 3 storage arrays presented, one of which is the XtremIO, and that's the one I'll be going ahead and using. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the Array Management Provider section to add the XtremIO to VIAS. Our provider type is REST, as XtremIO uses REST to communicate between the VPLEX and the XtremIO. So I need to give it a provider name, and I'll give it a provider name of XtremIO 01 in this case, but you can choose whatever you like. I need to give it a valid IP address of the XtremIO, and I need to give it a valid username and password. In this case, I've given it admin, but you can use any admin level access credentials that you have in your environment. And I've chosen, of course, to continue to use SSL for protection. So we've now gone ahead and registered the Array Management Provider, and now we're ready to go ahead and provision storage. So let's go ahead and provision storage. So we'll provision storage from a pool. I have an existing consistency group that's all set up for me called VIAS XtremIO, and I'll go ahead and use that. I'm going to create 2 volumes. In this case, let's make them each 2 gigabytes in size. And I'll call them VIAS test, let's call it test 1 in this case. I then select the storage pool I want to provision against. In this case, we'll provision against the XtremIO storage pool. And in XtremIO, there will only be 1 pool, so you always see the default pool. And I'm going to let the storage group auto-assign, which means VPLEX will figure out what the appropriate one is. And then, what do I want to present this out? What host storage view do I want to present this out to? So in this case, I'm going to start out and presenting it to the ESX infrastructure cluster, which I already have defined here. So we'll go ahead and say provision storage, and our work as storage administrators is done. What's happening on the back end is we're creating the volumes in XtremIO. We are mapping and masking them to the initiator groups, and then on the VPLEX side, it is presenting them out to the ESX cluster that I've asked it to. It takes, in this case, about 15 seconds to go ahead and provision in the environment. So in this case, you can see that's currently done, and it just successfully completed it. So let's go and look at the XtremIO and see what it sees. So we look at, now I moved over to the XtremIO GUI, and you'll see that I have 2 gigabyte volumes that have been created in this created for me. In this case, you can see that they have a name that logically makes sense, VPLEX, with the serial number of the array and the name that I gave it before. So I can quickly and easily track it back and forth, and it's been tagged with the name of the VPLEX that we're using, VPLEX Integrated Array Services, and the serial number of that particular array. Thank you for looking at the demo of the VPLEX Integrated Array Services.